Hi friends, if you're like me, you're secretly afraid that the snow is going to be poisoned, because how could this year get any worse? Or you are a photographer that wants to talk about shooting family sessions. That sounds like you. We should talk. We are going to get into mostly posing family sessions, but also just sort of like what a full hour of family sessions look like. I will preface this by saying all of my sessions are an hour. I might go over 20 minutes, but a lot of them end up being like 45. I wanted to start by taking you through a full session because for me, a family session is not like a single still image. There isn't like one photo that I'm trying to get at any specific time. It's really about the overall collection of images. I want to show what everybody's personalities look like. I want to show like where we were and what it felt like. And I want like all of the derps and the bloopers and everything. So this is what a full session looks like from start to finish. He's feeding birds. We walked around, they threw stuff. There was some hugging. This was also a maternity session, so I got some pictures of just mom. We walked around a little bit more. I don't know if you can tell, but for the most part, I am down on, like, I'm squatting while I'm shooting. So I did get a couple where everybody was smiling and looking at the camera a little bit, but for the most part, I like to say that my sessions are lifestyle sessions, so I'm really just trying to get candids in the moment, whatever's happening. And that's the end of the session. Start to finish, this session was about 45 minutes, almost exactly, maybe a little bit more. So that is what a full session with me looks like. What's unique about the space that we were shooting in is that it's literally just like a little walkout beach. There aren't a lot of places to go. It was really just about giving them things to do and just capturing whatever happened. So I picked like 500 some images to share with you guys, and I put them into categories so that we can talk about like the different sections. But I am going to start with the first and most important part of shooting families, specifically with younger children, is to get down. Close-ups are cute, but mostly whenever you're shooting kids, you want to make sure that you're getting down on their level. Also, it just feels distance. Like this image is further away, and then I get in close and it just feels so much more nice and intimate. So that's something that I try to do over and over, is just get down on their level, especially because kids are finding things and it's cute. And this little image is so nice and says so much more about their personality than the picture of them looking at the camera and smiling, which I will also get. But my goal is to just get down on their level as much as possible. Here's another example. I'm further away and then I get down on their level and it changes it completely. So I always make sure that I am wearing very stretchy pants that I do not mind getting grass stains on, and I mess them up. Most of my family sessions I end up pretty dirty. This is just very cute. Along the same vein, I don't control the entire session. A lot of the time I'm just watching and waiting for kids to do things and taking pictures of close-ups of stuff that they're into. We were at a coffee shop. Here, a little girl really wanted to show me a worm, so I take a picture of her worm. Kids are curious and weird stuff happens, and instead of trying to fight against it, I just go with it. This little girl wanted to touch the snake, and I was like, I don't think he wants to be touched. Like, maybe he would have been a friendly snake, but I'm happy to take pictures of anything that kids grab or checking things out. It says a lot about who they are at that age, and so I'm here to embrace it. Here we're literally just window shopping. Instead of being like, okay, let's go walk, I just took photos of them doing it, and they picked out their favorite building, and it was really cute. Most of the time at sessions, the thing that I'm having people do is just walk around. So this is show me how big your steps can be. So we're walking, but they're showing me the biggest steps they can make. This is just families walking around. And the idea that I have about never stop shooting applies to family sessions, especially because sometimes kids don't want to be in pictures at all, and all we end up getting are just really cute pictures of us going from location to location. If they don't want to smile and look at the camera and that becomes like grumpy time, sometimes all we get are the walking around pictures. And I really love them. So this is all just families walking. So when people book a family session with me, I let them know that I get about 45 minutes before kids are just like done with me. But we always start by trying to get everybody smiling and looking at the camera picture. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. This section is called It Worked. This is just people smiling and looking at the camera and These are pictures that I get at least a couple of these from every single shoot, and they're good and necessary, and these are almost always the ones that end up going to print. So I mentioned that a lot of the time when I'm shooting, I am just like almost near squatting walking around. It's a real thing that you have to do when you're shooting kids, especially ages like 1.5 to, I don't think it ever stops. You always just have to be ready for kids of any age to move. Even some of the like older kids that I've shot that were like 10, 11, 12 are still like running, and I'm not here to squash anybody's excitement, so I just let it happen. But you have to be ready to move, and I just shoot through these moments. I let it happen, and I'm all about it. In these situations, my job is really more of a photojournalist than a portrait photographer. Most of what I'm doing is trying to be in the right place at the right time, being ready to get down if they're gonna run at me, acknowledge that sometime I'm gonna get knocked over. I did pull a few of these sessions from last year just because this year was a little bit different with like kids not being able to come close to me. I am always ready for kids to just like run into me and run me over. So so other than smiling and looking at the camera and just letting them do whatever the heck they want, I also give prompts. And I'm going to show you what some of those look like. And some of them are just going to be the same things over and over because that is legitimately how I work. If you've seen my video on how to post couples, then you already know that. It's very formulaic. So this is one that you're going to see over and over. Baby go up. So I ask them if it's something that their baby likes, and if it is, then I have them do it. Kiss baby on the cheeks. I like this one, especially when they have fat cheeks. It is my favorite picture, and kids don't always like it, but sometimes they do. But I always have them try. Family hug. Walking and swinging is a big one. If kids like to swing, that is a nice one to get them to stop running, but they don't want to just stand there and hold hands. So swinging is a good way to get motion, but basically have them be in the same place. I think this one turned into them kissing him on both cheeks, and it did not end well. Here's another swing to get them to stand still. Family cuddle kiss, group hug. Group hug. Kids aren't always into this one, but for older kids especially, sometimes it's nice to just get them looking out in different directions. So there isn't like a big prompt here, but I'm just trying to get them to look anywhere but at the camera. So I'm like, look out at the sunset. This one, I told them to give me a silly face. This was towards the end of the session. They were kind of over it, so I was like, show me your silly face, and this is what we got. Ooh, I love this one. Okay, so one thing that I like to do is I let the kids know, like, hey, on the count of 3, we're gonna go and have you run and jump and hug mom and dad. Are you ready? Okay, ready? They're not gonna know what's coming. 1, 2, 3. And then I have them run and they jump and they hug, and it's very cute. And the kid thinks it's fun because we're acting like the parents aren't in on it and not able to hear my very loud whispers. So the older brother did it, and then the little brother did it. Family hug. Toss your baby in the air. Kiss both cheeks. Toss your baby in the air, toss your baby in the air, baby go up. One thing that I've especially had to get used to this year is shooting non-walking babies outside of the home. They aren't walking yet, some of them aren't standing yet, some of them aren't sitting up by themselves. And so what I end up doing a lot of the time is just having them walk around while they're holding their baby, but baby go up is a good one, baby kissing cheeks is a good one, getting them down on the ground with a blanket is a really good one for kids that are not walking, and I'll have more examples of that. Ooh, the wave, do the wave. This is especially nice if there are older kids. There aren't a lot of like fun, silly things that I have for older kids, but I do have a couple, and the wave is one of them. I like it. Kids like it. It's a big hit. Baby go up. Ooh, when kids ride on their parents' neck, it's really cute. Not all kids are comfortable with it or have done it yet, but if they are, then it's a suggestion that I make just to change up the variation. Baby go up. I could spend an entire session just shooting kids flying through the air, and I would be happy because kids love it so much sometimes. Family hug. Another one that you can do with kids that are a little bit older is have them look at the person that is a certain thing. So look at the person that likes pancakes the most, and then they'll look at mom, or they'll look at dad, or they'll say me. And then as you talk to them and you ask them questions like that, they'll start to tell you stuff, and then you can just repeat it back. Like in this session, one of them was saying that she loved space. And I was like, okay, who likes space the most? And then she was like, I do. And so it was like cute, and there was nice interaction, and it's one way to get them looking at each other in a way that isn't just like, look at mom, look at dad. And it gets them excited, especially if you ask them about something that they happen to really like pizza. Family hug. Here's more of just throwing children around to get them to laugh. Here's more asking questions and having them look at who does what, like who's grumpiest in the morning, who takes the most naps. And it's great because it works with older children too. Family hug. Here's one. I've shot this family 2 times and their girls are a little bit older, but I really let them take the reins and do more of the posing and figure out like where we were going to go for this session to get them to be more involved. And they had some really cute ideas, so I really liked it. But they went in to sit on this bench and they sort of set this up and looked at each other, and I loved it. Family hug. Another family hug. I especially like to do family hugs in an awkward way. So I'll have them all walk together and I'll be like family hug and then break and then family hug and then break. And so if you do it over and over and over, then everybody starts laughing because it's just super awkward. So make it weird. Here's more throwing kids. Oh, there's me. I'm in the background. That's me. That's what I look like. Ask parents if the kids are ticklish. Sometimes kids like it. Sometimes they do not. Throw your kid around. Throw the baby in the air. Family hug. Look at each other. Wave. Look at each other. Baby up on the shoulders. This kid was not particularly into it. For the most part, infant photography is just like, it's just another thing. It's like another level. There's like baby molding involved, if I understand it correctly. Whenever I do in-home sessions, whenever I'm shooting babies, for the most part, it's going to be more lifestyle. It's going to be like, you know, lay down with her, show me, you know, like what your day looks like, that kind of thing. And this one was a little bit different because they were holding the baby and she was like asleep for like all but the very end. So she finally woke up and we just got a couple of pictures. Kiss baby on the cheeks. And last one, just another silly walk. So that was mom and daughter, which leads me into getting variations. So I like to get the whole family together, but also if anybody else is there, like if they brought a grandparent just to, you know, like watch the kid for a couple of pictures or just to like round them up, I'll be like, can I get a photo of you guys together? This is one that I just thought was funny because they gave her a bangle. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to take a photo of that because it's funny. Here's mom and baby, mom and child, grandma and child, a couple variations of that. Here's dad and son, baby and aunt, I think. And she was showing him videos because we were losing him. And I am pro bribery. That should be its own section. Pro bribery. I let people know, like, maybe bring a surprise that you don't tell them about until right before the session or early in the session that you're going to give them at the end. So that way they have something to look forward to. So she was having them watch funny videos because we were losing them. Here's mom and daughters, mom and daughter, dad and daughter. Here's the 2 kids together. So again, I let these girls take creative reign and they wanted to go inside of this cool, awesome tree. And so we got some pictures of just the girls in there. And one outside, they stood on these stumps and it was really cute. Here's a little girl alone. There were a bunch of like really silly outtakes that were also delivered from this. Here's mom and daughter, mom and kids, dad and kids, mom and baby. And then we got one with each of her sons. This is also, by the way, this is Sarah Culver. She's a super talented photographer in my area. I'm really thankful that she asked me to photograph her family because they're beautiful. Mom and daughter, mom and dad and daughter. And while we're at it with variations, this isn't something that I get at every single session, but I do ask, do you guys want a photo together? And then we try to get some alone. So here's parents with no kids at family sessions. There are kids in this one, but I really liked it. So it is really nice to have a moment to do that. So these are less of prompts and more along the lines of activities. So things that you can suggest for your couples and families to do during sessions. They were reading a book and it was super cute. This was just their reward at the end. They got ice cream and they were into it and it was very cute. So I went outside and I took a picture of them through the window. Here they were just climbing around on different equipment. We were at a really cool woodsy park. which I really liked. And so I got pictures of both of them on either side of this, what is it, teeter-totter seesaw? Is it regional? Here, they wanted to play kitchen, but it was a serious restaurant biz. Like, they were not joking around. So she was like deadpan, like, I made you soup. And so it was very serious, which I also really enjoyed. So I took photos of that too. And activities don't have to be like a big thing. This was an autumn session, and so we just ended up throwing leaves, and it was really fun. We were just throwing rocks in the water. Yeah, I let kids throw rocks, whatever, I'm not a parent. So the little one had candy and the older boys got airplanes. And so we were playing airplanes for this session, which was super fun. And then they built a gingerbread house, which was super cute and messy, which I really loved. Airplanes, airplanes, these are out of order. Forgive me. More from the gingerbread house. And then they did cupcakes. Here's more reading. Oh, and they made tea, and he had like a tiny little espresso cup. Oh my god, it was so cute. So I was able to do the gingerbread pictures inside, but most of my sessions this year haven't been inside, so I pulled some previous in-home sessions just for you guys to look through. But in-home sessions are nice. I literally just choose the different areas that they like to sit in the house, or the different areas where they like to play, and just get everybody interacting. The goal is to get a couple of smiling and looking at the camera pictures, but with kids, I just literally photograph anything that happens. Here, he is just laid out on the ottoman, and he has like a watch for some reason, but I was taking pictures, and he was really goofy and silly for some of these, so I really liked it. Here, they're just on the bed. The older brother wasn't really into it, so he was sort of like up and around, but this is one way that I like to shoot infants in their home that isn't like babies squished into like hammocks. Just close-ups, trying to get family time, get further away. And then I'm literally just shooting as we're going in between rooms, as they're going up and down the stairs. Anything that happens. With babies, I do think it's really nice to get, obviously, like, you know, the necessary pictures. Like, if you got a baby, you get a cute picture of the baby and their little feet. Also, me being like, ooh, and like that whole attitude that I'm like bringing as I'm like looking at the pictures. I basically talk like an idiot the entire time I'm shooting family sessions. My energy is just so much. I am so tired when I'm done with family sessions, just because the whole time I'm just like laughing and giving lots of affirmations. The thing about shooting people is that they match your energy, and the thing about family sessions is that you really have to bring a lot of positive, nice energy to it for it to be successful. Kids especially will pick up on your energy, so you have to make sure that it's really positive and you're energetic, and you have to match their energy, which is hard. Kids have a lot of energy. Here's more in-home family pictures. I was trying to get everybody smiling, looking at the camera, and then I just moved around and got variations from there. I had them move around to different places so we can try to get different places. Taking photos as we're sort of moving around, getting variations, different locations, and just going with the flow, just taking pictures of whatever ends up happening. Here, I am literally laying down on the ground with them while I'm taking these pictures. They lay down on the ground. I was matching their energy. I got down there too. Here, they were looking out the window, so I got in close and I got some close-ups. Baby started going up the stairs, so I was just taking pictures of whatever was happening. And the session ended with a wrestling match, as they do. So other than giving prompts, which is mostly just like, let's walk around, let's change locations, my goal is to get just a bunch of different backgrounds, and then variations from there are like get close, get far away. So I want to get far away and get close. I want to get close and then far away. And this is something that I'm doing over and over. I'm just trying to get variation from how close I am and how far away I am. Oh. So here's one where I had everybody look the opposite direction because I couldn't get everybody to do the same thing at the same time. Also, it was just like a pretty sunset, so they have a nice little memory together too. So get far away, get far away, get close, get far away, get close, get far away, get close, get far away, get close. Are you guys seeing a trend? Like I said, it's very formulaic. I'll get far away, I'll get close up, we'll move locations, I'll take photos as we're moving to a different location, and I'll try prompts, and sometimes it doesn't work. Most of family sessions is just accepting that you don't have control. I am amazed at Jonathan Canless's work because he is able to get so much variety with family stuff, but I think he's a film photographer. But one thing that's interesting about his work is that it's not a lot of the like big moments. Like there aren't kids that are like exploding with joy. It's like calm, nice moments. That's really what his work looks like. That might just end up being the families that he ends up attracting as a result. But I feel like I am here to embrace the crazy, and I'm down to roll with the punches if things don't work out. So here, what I wanted was a picture of them sitting together, and they weren't into it. First of all, they were superheroes. Like, what was I thinking? But we ended up not being able to get that shot. And it was cool. We ended up walking around. In order for me to get everybody on the same plane, I had them like pick up their kids and carry them. And so that was like how I got them all to walk together for this part. Here we were sitting there, kids weren't into it. So we walked around. This was a hard day. It was a chilly day, and it was just like a different location, and I think they had to get up early for the shoot. So we ended up looking at ducks and just walking around silly, which I was into. Sometimes kids are not into it at all, and I will take pictures of babies not having a good time. Here I'm just letting the kids call the shots. They wanted to do a thing, and I was like, yeah, do the thing. He wasn't feeling it in this picture, but I got him in this one. He wasn't having it in this picture, and I was just like, everybody, get him to smile, make him smile. And so everybody turned around. Here the kids were just jumping over stuff, and instead of being like, okay, let's all come over here, we're gonna get a picture, I got pictures of like every single one of those kids jumping over this little ravine thing. And it was really fun, and they were different pictures than I ever would have came up with. Here they wanted a picture of them hiding behind the trees, and I am, again, going to keep it positive. I'm down for anything. If anybody makes suggestions, I'm like, yeah, I love that. Let's do that. Where do you want to do it? These kids weren't feeling me that day, which, like, it happens. I'm not everybody's cup of tea all the time. But they had friends that showed up, so I ended up getting a lot of really nice candids from them later in the evening, just of them hanging out with their friends. So I didn't have to be a part of making the happy happen, but I did take photos of it. Again, the kids weren't super into me. Their friends were off to the side. They were sort of looking at me, so I was just like, let's do some photos of you alone. So we ended up, like, having the kids step off to the side, and we just did some pictures of mom and dad and mom together. That was specifically prompted by the kids not wanting to be in the pictures, but I was down for it. To take little pictures of chaos, I think it's fun. Here we're doing a silly dance because I wanted to get a picture of everybody standing on the thing in the middle, and that didn't happen. So I was like, everybody show me your silliest dance. Also, I'm doing it too. I look so dumb when I shoot. Here was supposed to be like a nice calm walk towards the camera, and it ended up being like half running, and I just took photos the entire time. So they swang them a little bit, and that slowed things down a little bit. Here was supposed to be another like family, like getting close and cuddly. He wasn't having it, but it ended up making for really great photos. It was funny. I was laughing the entire time. But again, things don't always work out. Kind of really loved this moment because it was supposed to be like everybody standing still and taking pictures together, but instead they started chasing each other, and I was like, we're gonna embrace the chaos, run around them. So they did. And then they found a tree to climb, so I just took pictures of them climbing in this random tree. So I was talking to the parents and playing catch up, and the kids started walking around this, so I just ended up taking photos of it. And it was just really lovely lighting. They wanted to participate a little bit more in the art direction. The youngest one wants to be a photographer, and I was like, yeah, totally. So they got to choose like where they wanted to have their own portraits taken. So they art directed these, and I am super impressed that they picked such lovely and different stuff. Like each one of them chose their own portrait location, which was cool. And this was supposed to be just like a normal smiling looking at the camera picture. This little girl is a ham, and I love it. So we got this one, and we got this one, and we got this one. So we did get a normal one, but I take photos of all the iterations of everything. And when I say that I'm taking photos the whole time, I literally like, there will be pictures when I'm like culling and going through my camera that are like half diagonal because I was shooting horizontal and I decided to go vertical. I just like kept shooting as I rotated my camera. Oh, also this one. Here we were supposed to do like nice, calm bubble pictures, and instead she like ran around popping them, and it was so funny. So we got really good photos of that, which I liked. This was the end of the session. She was over it, so I had them look out so we can get like a nice picture at sunset on our walk back. So she wasn't smiling for pictures, and that was fine. I was just like, okay, everybody look over that way. And then we can't tell that she's not happy with me. And I know that I've already said it, but such a big part of shooting families is just being a photojournalist. Just watching the things that are happening and taking photos of it We aren't able to predict how kids are going to behave. We aren't able to necessarily give direction all the time that ends up working. But I think if you just keep taking photos, you end up with some good stuff no matter what. I love the end of the session. I love this. This was like at the very end of the session, and they were so funny. She was the funniest kids. This one, they had so much energy because we wanted to shoot at a pumpkin field, which was like a decent drive. So they were cooped up in the car. They're cooped up because of quarantine. We get them to a field and they just want to go. So most of the session ended up me just having them walk and run. He did get hurt, and so he needed his mom to cuddle him, and then I took advantage of that and I took photos. He just wanted to do silly faces, so I was like, everybody give your best silly face, and so we did silly faces. Here's a kid not wanting his hood on. Whenever the ideas that I have, these like big grand ideas that I have aren't working out, I just have them walk. And snacks. You do not want a hungry child at a session, so I am pro feeding them. But I will also take photos of them eating because kids are cute no matter what. So these are just 2 pictures of them eating. But look at how happy he was after he got to eat. So I hope some of that was helpful. I am not a kid person. Like, I don't have kids. So my approach to shooting families is to just get like 1 or 2 pictures of them looking at the camera and smiling. And then everything after that, I just want it to be interesting. I just want them to look happy, or I just want them to be expressing their energy in some way, trying to make sure that I'm keeping the energy up as much as possible. I'm being super positive, and my biggest takeaway from family sessions is embrace the chaos, because it's gonna happen. And also, sometimes kids are super grumpy, and especially when they're super grumpy, I will cave into kids. They're not my kids. I can spoil them. That's fine. So I've shot sessions where kids were just over it. They didn't want to be part of it. They didn't want to be told what to do, which I totally get, because so much of being a kid is just being told what to do all the time. So that's when I'll ask them if they want to do something, like, where do you think we should stand? Should we do a funny face? Should we do a silly face? What do you want to do? And so I'll let them give little directions. Also, when they're like little and they're grumpy, sometimes the thing that we can get them to do is try to be silly, because it's funny and it's much more fun than just smiling and looking at the camera. I will encourage them to make silly faces, to make silly walks. Sometimes when I like need to just slow things down a little bit, I will literally say, like, can you show me how slow you can walk? Like, no, so slow. Or I'll say, can you show me how big an ant's step would be? If you were a little baby ant, how big would your steps be? And they'll just like go like that. And sometimes they'll look down at their feet, and sometimes they'll laugh and they'll look at me. But ultimately, it kind of stops them and gets us all on the same page. And then I'll have them see how fast they can go. And the last thing that I'll say about family sessions is that you want to make sure that you're shooting family sessions in servo mode. Kids are moving. You want that focus tracking on. But we can talk about focusing in another video if it's something you have a hard time with. I am open to that. I think I honestly showed you guys like 400 or 500 images here. It was a lot. So thank you for hanging in there. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for supporting me and making this video happen. It means a lot to me. This year, my wedding business was basically saved by the fact that I do so many family portraits. So I am more than happy to share this information with you, because if you're shooting weddings, some of those clients are making families. So you can get in on this. Thank you so much for this suggestion, and if you have any questions at all, let me know. Anyway, have a good day. Bye! I'm awkward.